Father's Day 2025, and I scripted this video over a year ago and completely forgot about it. I stumbled across it recently and realised I should actually get around to publishing it. So that's what we're going to do today. But I'm sitting here in the fire pit, got the chooks behind me, and the comb bed behind me. That'll get mentioned in there some way. So, but you know, as a dad, I can say there have been any number of moments that my children have done something extra, unasked for, that have made me stop and think, wow, that's cool. I've never told them to do that. I'm so proud of you for doing that. As children, my dad never set us around the dinner table and lectured us on things we must do to be good people, how we must dress or act in public, how we must treat our partners. But the only specific lesson I recall was about the power of wearing a suit and where you could go wrapped up in the protection of being well dressed. Generally though, we just learn by osmosis from the example he set. Likewise, I've never really given my children specific lessons on what to do, how to act, etc. I just tried to set a good example for them to follow. And even if it looked like they were not paying attention anyway. There were a couple of times I did give specific advice for specific circumstances, and that was for their benefit, and I always explained why I was giving them the advice I did. Context and consequence are critical, and when they could see the why behind it, following the advice made more sense. What prompted me to script this video was, as I wasn't planning this one, it was an incident that occurred one night a while back, a real while back now, and it just, it's just taken something like a year and a bit to get around to recording it. So my stepson had a friend over to stay, and they were up late drinking and smoking whatever, but not being rowdy or anything. And then at like 3:30 in the morning, I get woken up by a shout and yell for help. It was the mate. Now I waited a few minutes to see what was going to unfold, because for all I knew, they were playing a video game and it was just something in the game. Then I get up and meet my stepson in the hall, and he was on his way to go and help his mate. He told me his mate had fallen over in the loo and that he would take care of it. And so he did. He proceeds to help his mate get up and into the shower and get cleaned up. And he asked me where the mop and the broom was. So I told him, and he proceeded to take care of the situation. I was incredibly proud of him for stepping up, doing all this, as I'd never told him anything around how to act as a host and taking responsibility for his guests. He just followed my example of the last 20 odd years and did what was needed. It was awesome stuff. Now, as I tried to settle down to sleep again, I was thinking about this and other proud dad moments where my kids have wanted to be a part of what I was doing, or following my example, without being asked. Now, when I was grouting the tile floor a number of years ago, both my younger sons wanted to have a go. So I set them up with the spatula and showed them how to push the grout into the tiles. And they had a go for a while, then wandered off to do something else, as grouting is hardly an exciting task for a kid under 10. I was very proud of them for wanting to have a go, without being asked or without being told, go help your father. Another time I was installing a bit of decking out the front, and my youngest lad wanted to have a go driving the screws with my torque driver. Now, for a 9-year-old, it's a big, heavy, awkward tool to use. But I showed him how to set the head of the screw and gently squeeze the trigger. Now, it's a pressure sensitive trigger. So, I showed him what happens. You squeeze too hard, she goes hard. He got the hang of it soon enough though, and he was a great little helper for the job. I put the screws in the pre-drilled holes, and he screwed them down tight. And I didn't ask for his help, but I wasn't going to refuse his offer of help either. And when I built the dog fence, which is behind me, before we put the pickets on, it was just the framework and the metal mesh. But we built that thing so that we could split the yard into two and give the dog some yard space, but keep her out of my veggies. So I'm sitting here in the fire pit. I'm surrounded by the raised garden beds. I didn't want the dog in this area, so I put the fence up. So my youngest lad and his friend next door both pitched in to help build the fence. And we were at that all afternoon. Both kids were willing helpers that were not asked to participate. I was both appreciative of the help and proud of both lads and Cameron, because he was he was working as hard or harder than I was putting that thing together. But I was really proud of them all for sticking to the job for several hours while we built the thing. And I made sure all the boys knew I was very appreciative of their efforts. Now, since the start of COVID, I've built several raised garden beds. I've done videos about them. I'm sitting in one now. Grown all sorts of fruits and veggies and stuff in here, and that's been awesome fun. Now, all of these construction projects involve moving several tons of dirt delivered into my driveway into the new beds in the backyard. Now, this has always been done with a shovel and a wheelbarrow because I didn't have the cash to hire a dingo or some other vehicle to move the dirt, nor did I have a tow bar on a car to collect it one from the rental place. So it was old school manual labour. Both the younger lads wanted to help, and I let them for as long as they wanted to, but shoveling dirt is hard work. And so I was not expecting too much from these young kids that just wanted to be a part of what I was doing. Nevertheless, I am still proud of them for the fact that they wanted to leave their screens behind and go do what Dad was doing without being told to. Now, I know I'm not alone in this. I know my brothers are proud of their sons, and the get up and go attitude they have all learned by osmosis from the examples set by their fathers. My nephew Sean started his teenage years pulling cars apart for the hell of it. This led to a mechanic apprenticeship and a good secure career as a diesel mechanic. While his dad was fully supportive of his endeavours, the drive was all of his own. This work ethic has led to him attracting a beautiful girl, and despite all the horror stories about trying to buy a house in Australia's current housing market, they did it. They actually bought a house on their own, without Dad's help, and all of this before they hit 30. I'm incredibly proud of him for achieving all of this because it proves the old saying that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. My youngest nephew worked really hard for several years at karate and finally achieved his black belt at the age of 10. Much more than I ever got achieved in karate, I must say. I know he worked really hard and was rewarded for that effort. I'm very proud of him as his uncle, but that pales in comparison to his dad. The pride he feels for his son is seeing the effort, the practice, the frustration, the disappointment, and the sweet taste of victory when his son finally nails it at grading and brings home the black belt. Dad to dad, I totally get him, in his head at least, pointing to his boy and go, "That's my boy, look what he did." This is a sentiment that I think is special to us dads. I know that mums do love their children with an unrivaled passion, but there's a protective element to that, but they don't really want the kids to risk hurting themselves. And I'm not going to minimise that for a second. The focus of this video is the pride that us dads feel about something their kids have done, regardless of age, and they manage to accomplish it. Usually it revolves around just having a go at something, be it sport, performing arts, even a career. And then when achieved, us dads all want to stand up and yell, "That's my kid. Look at what they did." See, I'm getting emotional about it. Just thinking about this. If there's a skin knee or a bloodied elbow, the pride goes up by orders of magnitude. Then go to any end of year school concert. It's a rite of passage for every parent. The kids are up on stage singing and dancing to something that the teachers have managed to put together, and they're up there for 5 minutes. If you turn and look away from the stage and look at the faces of the parents in the audience, you'll see they are all incredibly proud of the kids. Look at the dads. They will be red-eyed, trying to hide the tears of pride, as inside they are yelling, "That's my kid. Look what they did." I know this because I've done it. My adult children and stepchildren are no exception, and I am incredibly proud of everything they have managed to achieve, even if it had nothing, I had nothing to do with it. Inside, I still yell, "That's my kid. Look at what they did." Now, I've sired 4 children, raised 6, rescued a 7th, and provided some mentorship for a few others. And I will always be proud of all of their achievements. And I will always be their loudest cheerleader, because that's what real dads do. Righto, that's enough about that. You know the drill. Hit the subscribe button and become part of our thriving community. Of course, if you like my videos, give them the big thumbs up and share them if you want, as that helps the channel out. And also hit the bell to get notified when I put up new content. Okay, that's all from me, so stay healthy, keep thinking. As my mum would say, be good, and if you can't be good at it. I'll see you next time.